So, welcome to Elegantly Outrageous Talk. What this is going to be, what this is turning into is just simply something that is an authentic page that is going to grow organically as the audience gives responses to. So, I have so many wonderful people. Yes, you've only seen my face so far, but that is not my plan. I have so many wonderful people in my life that I want to include in this, so they can share with you as well some of their experiences, as well as we can have discussions. One of the first things before we move on to that, and I include other people, is talking about the sense of self and what it means to have self-discipline, because that is a huge category that people don't seem to want to talk about or address, that I've realized if you can't master in your lifetime yourself, you're never ever going to be able to be successful, period. And you might be successful in one area, you might be successful in another area, but success, it can be defined in many terms to many people in different ways, of course. However, it can be argued that if you're unable to master every type of area of yourself from a true, genuine standpoint, then you really are never successful. And I mean that in a sense that I know many people who seem to define success through financial means or material things. And yes, they have millions of dollars maybe. However, the truth behind their scenarios is they're just, it's putting on a front. They might have money in the bank, but they're unhappy with other areas of their life, or they're unfulfilled, or you're never going to be in perfect balance, because life has ups and downs, and at different times we need to master different categories. Elegantly Outrageous has developed 12 categories that I personally believe show all areas that we need to have kind of well-rounded and balanced, but throughout our life. We need to find our own rhythm of what's important to us. So at one time in my life, I spent way too much time in fitness and nutrition as a category. So for me, that kept me in a place where I couldn't move forward with anything else. So I believed I had to turn fitness even into a career, which I did well with and I had success with. However, it wasn't truly aligned with who I am. And I'm blessed and I'm so glad I went down that road. However, it caused me more problems sometimes than actual positive. It brought out things in me that were more negative, or I started to see things, I became more jealous or whatever. But I spent too many times and too many years, I'm forgiving of myself though, I just, it's a lot of time, trying to master, nutrition, and trying to master my body and all these things, but I still wasn't doing it in the right way. And I see, obviously, owning a nutrition store, so many people doing the same, and they're killing themselves constantly to look a certain way. And the irony through all of that, in all the years I spent, is when I finally let go, when I genuinely just let go and said, you know what, I'm going to listen to my body. I'm going to listen to what my body needs. I'm going to treat my body well. I'm going to love my body. I deserve that. When I figured that out, I didn't have to work as hard as I was. I've worked out less than I do. I believe in being active every day because it's good for mental health. I believe in eating right because it's the right thing to do. However, not obsessing about it and not consuming your life is very big. It might have to consume your life for a certain period of time. However, don't go as far as I did, where it consumed 15, 20 years of my life, and to the point where it affected me socially or affected me in my mental health or well-being, because that was my crutch, or that's what I relied on, or I told myself, I couldn't do, certain things until I looked a certain way, or vice versa. And so many people do that. I know so many women, I can't do that until I lose X number of pounds, or vice versa. And that's not the right way of thinking. So in these categories, whether it be finance, whether it be organization, whether it be whatever, success can mean so many different things. But for me, I believe the reason why I've mastered so much success has nothing to do with any of those material accomplishments. My personal success and what I see as success is when people master themselves and change from their circumstance, whatever they were told and whatever they believe to be, and are able to transform into something and make something else out of that. So if you were born into a family with money and then you take over the business, you do great things. That's great, and that's great success. However, you need to now, what are you doing with that? Are you helping the world? Are you giving money away? Are you building things? What are you doing to take that to the next level? If you were coming to this country on your own and you've just learned the language, been able to socialize, been able to put yourself in a different country, in a different environment, to me, you're already successful. So it's perspective of what that is. For myself, personally, growing up with extreme trauma and finally just finding inner peace when I hated myself my whole life, I hated myself, and now I found love in myself. That was my job to find, and self-respect with everything that I've been through. That's success. And that is what drives me to say, you know what? I'm good enough now, and I want other people to know that they're good enough because of that. And that's pretty cool. So if you can master whatever those things are in mastering self, and that comes down to self-discipline and really genuine awareness of where you are at within all of those areas. I'll go through and explain the 12 categories as we progress with Elegantly Outrageous, what that means. I'm also, along with my team and many wonderful associates, because let me tell you, I am not smart enough to put together everything on my own at all, nor do I want to be, nor do I have the years or the time to invest in all of it myself. So I am so blessed to be connected to so many wonderful people who are way smarter than me, who are putting their time and their efforts into this so that they can bring you a product, a service, a business that's going to help with your personal development so that you can get and master your sense of self. And that self-discipline comes from the fact that self-control, loving yourself and knowing what's good for you, what's healthy, never stepping on anyone else inappropriately or hurting others to get what you want. That is not appropriate. That is not success. There's a big difference between stepping back and saying, this is what I need for myself, and this is healthy, and people can be at you from different directions, and that's fine, but you're not stepping over toes, you're not doing anything wrong, you're not being dishonest, you're building something that is genuine, and that is you. You are building you are mastering you, that sense of self. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? And for 30 plus years of my life, I looked in the mirror, and it didn't matter what I looked like on the outside. I would look in the mirror and I saw darkness, I saw hate, I saw a person that I didn't even know who she was. I was so disconnected from my body and who I was that I didn't recognize myself at all. I saw myself as a third person, and for people that don't understand trauma, you might not understand that, and you don't have to be in trauma to even understand that some people I see are, and they're just not connected to their bodies or who they are, or their mind, their spirits. And when you are, and when you can learn self-discipline, and when you learn what your life purpose and mission is, and you choose that purpose. Some people, they're given a purpose and they know, and other people, you know what, it's a decision. I've made a decision to do this and not to quit. So what are you doing? What decision are you making? What are you mastering? What's most important to you? For me, my family, that base, I always just wanted a healthy, safe, happy home. And that was taken away from me at many times in my life. And it's never going to be the ideal circumstances. Just, if you come from a home and maybe you were married, broken home, divorced, you don't have your kids all the time, such is life. You have to work with whatever circumstances there are. And you have to just make those circumstances work. And you can't change anyone else. So the only person you can change and have control over is your perception of self. So what are you seeing when you look in the mirror? Because now when I look in the mirror, I don't see that darkness. I realize I am somebody who's responsible for myself, who's responsible for my own self-care, who's responsible now for little people. When you have children, you're responsible for them. So in order to be the best person I could possibly be for them, I need to be that person for me. It's not a matter of do as I say, not as I do. It's a matter of I am your example. And we talk through that. And if you give up on your dreams, how do you ever expect your children to succeed and push through theirs? If you're not willing to do the work, if you're not willing to be honest with yourself when you screw up admit that. How